big landscapes in it is Stagecoach.
Yeah.
That was also released in 1939. Not a good segue, but here we are.
We can always segue with another movie that was released in 1939.
True. I mean, that's why we're talking about all of them.
Yeah.
Stagecoach, directed by John Ford,
Jean Ford,
who we have talked about before.
in the Western context, although it's been
it's been a minute,
something like 12, 13 years since he's made a Western.
Right. I think Straight Shootin' was the last one we watched, which was like his first feature film, I think. I mean, this movie is like, speaking of iconic movies, as we have been doing, this is like, as I don't know if it's the most, I wouldn't say it's the most iconic Western or anything like that, but it has so much iconic Western stuff in it that it's like, it has everything you want out of a like classical American Western, I guess. It's got shots of Monument Valley. It's got gunfights. It's got a stagecoach. It has like the character archetypes are like very classical Western stuff.
This is the first time that John Ford shot at Monument Valley, and he would return many times.
But it just feels like this is like such a robust. Oh yeah, this is the Western. It's got all the Western stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of it that, in a way you could call it arch, but like it's done so well,
Yeah, this was so I'd seen this before. I watched this, I think, in my Westerns class at Brooklyn College, naturally. And this was a movie I was like, I'm not sure how well this one's gonna hold up. I was like a little afraid that it was gonna be like, I don't know, like this movie might have some stuff in it that I don't like or whatever. And it's got some, questionable maybe
racial politics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But overall, even that aspect of it, I was really kind of surprised at how well all of it holds up and how kind of, I don't know, just kind of thoughtful it was. I mean, for when it was made, I mean, I wouldn't, if this movie came out now, I wouldn't describe it as thoughtful. But even its characters are two kind of like romantic leads are a ex-convict and a prostitute.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess,
sex worker.
It is not particularly thoughtful when it comes to its depiction of Indians.
Yeah.
But apart from that, in just its sort of just general character writing, it is quite complex.
Yeah.
It's basically like a kind of classic style of movie where a bunch of different types of people are put together in a place and have to figure it out.
Yeah. A motley crew of people all get put in a stagecoach, and like they don't want to be there with all the other people that are there.
Yeah, and it's just kind of exploring how they all kind of clash against each other and develop as a relationship, like in relation to each other.
But like, so much of the movie is about like ingrained like prejudices and like snap judgments that people make.
Yeah, including their the Mitchell character is
Thomas Mitchell showing up again. He'll show up again in this episode of the podcast.
It is he is looking down on this gambler who is also a Confederate and
ex-Confederate, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, kind of like rolling his eyes at this guy, and there's kind of clashing based on that. Clashing based on like the high society woman who can't, or most of the people, but her especially, that can't respect the sex worker, or the way that people treat ex convicts. It's all like a lot of really kind of interesting social dynamics.
Well, because also
up against
Thomas Mitchell is a doctor, but he's also an alcoholic. So then like people are judging him for that too. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, I don't know how to feel about this guy.
And he's like, time to roll up my sleeves and go from alcoholic to high functioning alcoholic.
Yeah. But so it's such a great just premise, I guess, for a movie to like throw all these characters together and kind of see how they bounce off each other. I do think it's
really
funny.
well put together.
There's that one character, the ex-Confederate, who's described as a notorious gambler, which I feel like in a Western is like, ooh, that's like exciting and like notable and like kind of glamorous. I'm like, a notorious gambler now in like a modern context.
That just seems like a sad person who's walking around in Vegas.
Right? It's like, oh, he's a notorious gambler. Ooh, yikes! Like that almost seems worse than the alcoholic. But here he's got like gloves and a cape and is like,
he's a gentleman gambler, like James Bond. Yeah. like racist James Bond.
But even that thing where his whole thing is about like chivalry and being a gentleman and like offering his coat to the lady and things like that.
I mean, it's very like Gone with the Wind, like antebellum.
But I think this movie is like fairly critical of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's like it ends with him about to shoot a woman, like very prematurely.
Yeah. Almost like the Mist situation.
Right. Yeah, very much so. But it's the movie is not is like pretty is not convinced that I think that guy is like right for behaving that way. It's very like, oh, this guy's a little performative and he's only doing this because this is like a wealthy woman. He is not treating anyone else this way.
Right. Yeah, he wants to. In the movie, there's a point where they kind of all think that they're about to die. The stagecoach is being surrounded by Geronimo's. Was it Geronimo? Yeah. Geronimo's gang, and so he's about to kind of with his final revolver bullet give the new mother a dignified death or something. Then he gets shot right before.
Yeah.
But yeah, wait, this movie I could see. Do we need to talk about the?
I remembered like most of this movie kind of being the like big chase set piece. Like that's kind of the most memorable thing about it is this like extended sort of like stagecoach chase through the like flats where there's like 100 horses bearing down on them and like there's guns going off and all this stuff.
Very cool kind of like action like stunts of like
amazing
jumping from horse
to
horse.
Should we just get to the stunts right away because the stunts in this movie are great.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, there's the bit where Ringo, who's John Wayne's character, also this is like John Wayne's big, intro to movies.
Yeah, he was in only in B movies before. And bit parts.
He gets his like big like hero shot the first time you see him. It's like super cool, like super quick dolly into his face.
It's a very
as he's like racking
shot.
the the lever action rifle like in T2, which I mean T2 is doing it like this movie. It goes out of focus, which is not intentional. That's because the focus puller wasn't quick enough, but it really kind of works for the shot. But so the big kind of action set piece that isn't even the end of the movie. It's like the end of Act 2, kind of.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, so it's got Ringo jumping from horse to horse at the front of the stagecoach, which is just
like 5 or 7 horses or something.
A guy doing that as the horses are galloping.
Yes, at full speed,
which is insane.
And there's also someone who gets trampled by the horses.
I don't think he actually gets trampled because I mean he was a stunt guy and he went on to do other things. But yeah, he goes underneath all of the horses and the stagecoach as it goes over him. Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, is where the Indiana Jones going under the truck stunt idea came from, was that stunt in this movie.
Speaking of directors who love this movie, apparently Orson Welles watched this movie 40 times in preparation for making his first movie, Citizen Kane.
Really? This one?
Orson Welles, when asked about directors that influenced him, he said the old masters, John Ford, and John Ford.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, John Ford, I guess very notably was very inspirational to Spielberg also. Spielberg met him once in his office in a scene that is in the movie The Fabelmans. So go watch that movie if you want to know what went on there. Yeah, John Ford is very good at this.
It's a very well put together movie.
Yeah,
like from like the way the characters work with each other, like it all just there isn't flab on this movie. You know, yeah, it's very well constructed.
There's a lot of really good. I'm getting really kind of screenwriter nerdy here, but like there's a lot of really good exposition through conflict in this movie.
I mean, you're fair because it's like a total scripty movie,
right? This is very much a movie that screenwriters would like because its script is like so tight and so good.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of another scripty thing that seems very directly influenced by this is Hateful Eight, including like the stagecoach like first act of Hateful Eight.
Also, just the idea of like a bunch of characters thrown together that don't really get along and have to kind of figure something out. Yeah.
there is kind of like a sort of revenge plot happening, where Ringo is the only one who respects
Dallas.
Dallas,
Yeah.
The prostitute, and he wants her to run away with him to a ranch in Mexico, as soon as he can take care of this kind of unfinished Western honor business.
Well, it's right. Ringo's, I think, father and brother were both murdered by some ruffians. The Plumber boys, the Plumber family has a beef with his family, so they did some murders, and now Ringo's looking for revenge. And so we get this, this whole thing of like the stagecoach needs to get from point A to point B, but it's going through Apache country, and because of settlers going into the West and Manifest Destiny and stuff like that, the Apache are not super jazzed about stagecoach coming through their land.
Yeah, I mean, it's another like we.
The movie does not say this part. It's just like, oh, they're Apache, they're scary.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Is it's like the kind of genocide that is apparent in Gone with the Wind is also lurking in the background of this movie.
Yeah,
and other westerns, but like
it's kind of this thing that's just like,
so I don't know
it's not
why, but
inherent in westerns,
it feels
but it's
easier
like,
to ignore, but maybe it shouldn't.
I mean, I think it's, if for whatever reason it feels less glaring, but I agree. It's like there's a lot of context here that is not mentioned.
Yeah.
And that goes for so many westerns that still come out like this year. Not naming any names, but there's not that many westerns came out.
Have you seen Fievel Goes West: An American Tale, the Kevin Costner movie?
Yeah. But I still feel like the movie at least makes an effort at a couple points. I mean, I think at one point they bring in a guy and it's like, oh, he's a Cheyenne. He doesn't like the Apache either. At least sort of acknowledging that like this is not a monolith. Like Native Americans are span the whole country and have very very different cultures.
There's like a sympathetic Mexican character at one of the stopovers that they have, and he has an Apache wife. And there's a really great line.
Yeah.
Where I think it might have been the Confederate guy or something.
No,
it's the banker.
It's the old guy.
And he sees her and he goes, savage, and then he goes, yeah, she's pretty savage. I think.
It's like, yeah, she's pretty savage. You know what I mean? And then that guy like completely writes it off, and he's like, yeah, man. Like, where do you think you are? Like, yeah, I have an Apache wife. It helps. Like, it means that like we get along with them.
And then I was thinking like, oh, it's treating them not as simple bad guys. And then she like steals all their stuff and disappears. And he's
then there's a protracted action scene where they're just shooting arrows at them the whole time. But I mean, that was a thing where I was definitely rewatching this movie. I was like, how bad is this movie going to be with it? And it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be, thankfully. And a lot of westerns are worse. Not that makes anything better, but that was the thing where I was like, all right, for an old western, it could be worse, I guess. That plus the sort of general themes of like prejudice is bad, I guess. I think there's a lot to like this movie, a lot to like about this movie, even outside of its sort of I mean, it's technical stuff. If it's like, oh, it looks great, it's got this and that, it's just really well made movie.
Yeah. I think like with the parts that are supposed to be tense are really tense. Like they feel very vulnerable inside the stagecoach. There's like a good dynamic of like comedy to drama. There's a lot of good comic relief in it.
Each time they like get a new passenger, right, it's like the stagecoach gets a little bit more crowded until it's like people are like sitting on the floor and they're all right. It's all these people that don't really like each other or don't really want to be in the same room, and they're all like shoulder to shoulder, like squished in this tiny carriage.
One thing about craft that I was kind of thinking about while watching this movie was, you're kind of used to these kind of wide cinemascope westerns, right? Where they're showing the landscape as this giant wide vista, which you can't do in this 4:3 aspect ratio. And so I thought it was we've seen Western movies before, but like this is like a Western movie by John Ford, the Western guy, right? And so I was trying to think about like how this movie depicts these kind of classic Western tableaus, but in like a more boxy aspect ratio. And it seems like it uses a lot more depth because that's sort of what it has access to. There's a lot of like really deep shots of like characters in the foreground giving scale to the things in the background.
Even in like interiors.
Even
like indoors, there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of people in one corner of the room into another corner of the room, or like down hallways, or a lot of just like really, really smart framing. I think that sounds like faint praise. Like, oh, so smart. But it's
very
well composed, which is another sort of like John Ford staple. But even after this like big, standout action chase set piece, which I had to remember it as like half the movie, and it's actually like very relatively, it's like 8-9 minutes, something like that. Most of the movie is them traveling in the stagecoach and then also stopping at the like homestead where the was it Mrs. Mallory, the like wealthy woman, has a baby. The doctor has to sober up to deliver the baby, so he drinks like 8 cups of coffee and like slaps himself a bunch. And like that thing where it's like it's kind of funny to see this guy like try to sober up in like 3 minutes. But then it's also like the scene of where it's like the baby comes out and everyone's like, "Oh my god, a baby! Oh my, it's a baby!" And it's really sweet, and it's like everyone kind of bonds over this thing because it's like, come on, guys, we've all got our little gripes, but like, there's a baby here. Like, even after like the stagecoach gets to their destination, it's like Ringo, John Wayne's character, still has his like revenge plot he has to finish, and then it's like, right, because like the whole movie he doesn't know that Dallas is a prostitute, and then he finds out and he's like, I don't care, like whatever. And she's like, oh, okay, cool, like, yeah, let's go to your ranch.
There's this whole thing of like, I can't be with you because I have a terrible secret. You don't want to know.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, that okay. I also think it's kind of an interesting and kind of, I don't know, unconventional, right? It's like we've been building towards his like revenge, his like confrontation with these plumber boys the whole movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like their whole like shootout happens almost entirely off screen.
Yeah.
It like cuts away after like the first shot. And then it's like there's all this tension, right? Where it's like, because everyone's, inside listening or, peeking out the windows, where it's like there's like a bunch of gunshots and then everyone's like, what happened? And there's like John Ford draws that feeling out as long as possible, where it's like a gunfight just happened and we don't know who lived yet.
Yeah, including there's like a kind of like classic, I don't know, Western or like samurai scene.
Like guy walks up and then
like it looks like he's
over.
Fine. Yeah.
the best. And that's the thing, is like that at this point has almost kind of become like a cliche in movies, I think, but that's because it is great and it is always great. And every time I see it, I'm like, yes.
It gives you this moment of like, oh no, did he lose? Is that guy still alive? And then he just falls over. It's great.
This movie has just like, right, like I said before, like everything you'd want out of a Western. It's got people like sliding bottles down a bar. It's got, it's got horses, it's got babies, it's got gunfights. The story it's telling, I feel like, is a little pulpy, maybe.
Yeah.
But but it's so well done that it feels like, I don't know, I think this is a great movie. And
the revenge plot's pulpy. I don't know if the other stuff is. Or like the character, drama.
I didn't really look into how much, like, how this movie was received when it was released, or sort of what the kind of general reaction to it was. But I get the sense, this wasn't a like prestige movie when it came out. I get the sense, but I don't know. But I think like this term didn't exist back then, but like more of like a action blockbuster, whatever kind of adventure movie. And yet it's so like there's so much care being put into every scene, every frame, because John Ford was good at his job.
Every frame was a painting.
Yeah, a painting with the horizon either at the top or the bottom.
But